Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's going to be going over the things that I don't like about my new Ineos Grenadier. And some of these things are items that I have not heard anyone talk about on the internet. Before we get into this video though, as always, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into it. So the number one thing are these off-road lights right here. They are functional, but I do think that Ineos could have done a little bit of a better job with integrating them. First off, they look kind of awkward because they're just super clear versus the blacked out headlights, and so they just, I don't know, they pop out. I think that what Ineos should have done is just tie them into an auxiliary switch and put caps over them. And I think that would have looked a little bit better in terms of the front end style, and it would have made them a little bit more user-friendly. Now the number two item is actually under the hood, so we'll quickly pop this open. And it's not this B58, so I actually really like the B58 in the Grenadier. It's a great engine. My only gripe is that they don't offer the diesel in the US market. Now I understand that even BMW doesn't sell the diesel in the US market because of emissions restrictions, but I feel like BMW should have tried a little bit harder, and Ineos should have maybe tried a little bit harder to get that engine in this market, because boy, oh boy, would this sell even more than it is if it had a diesel, but just my take. Number three is the dealer installed option situation. So when it comes to options with the Grenadier, some items come from the factory, some are dealer installed. This winch, for example, is from the factory. But then these checker plates, those are dealer installed. This raised air intake from the factory. But then the rock rails, they're dealer installed. The reason why I kind of find a little bit of an issue with this is there's an extra cost to get these installed because the dealership has to install them, and they do have that on their website, but I think that they should be a little bit more upfront with that and basically just talk to the dealerships, talk about how much they're charging for that, and then just have that on the build-in price already built in, you know, how much it's going to cost. And yeah, just kind of streamlining that whole situation so that people aren't caught off guard and go, wait, I have to pay extra to get this put on. I thought it was already included, right? Number four are the tires. So I understand why Ineos does such small tires. They claim that it is because of tire availability all around the world, and they're going to sell this all around the world. But here's the deal. Everyone that's been purchasing these Grenadiers has been lifting them and putting bigger tires on them, or just straight up putting bigger tires on them. I think that they should have just offered it as an option if people wanted to take it. So like, yeah, you could have this as standard, but then if people wanted to pay a little bit more money, they could have, you know, 33s as an option from the factory. Again, I think streamlining the tire situation, that would help a little bit too. Number five is a quick one. It's the receiver hitch. So this is a factory installed option that, as of right now, just like the winch up front, if you don't get it from the factory, there's not really an option to get one after the fact. I mean, the winch, there is technically an option, but it's very expensive. You got to do like an aftermarket bumper swap type deal, all of that. So again, making it so you can add this after the fact, I think that would be valuable to some people. And now this leads us to point number 6. Plus one, right? And that is this door here. So overall, the fit and finish on this car is really solid, and everything feels really solid. I mean, look at this. Just the closing actuation's great. But you can see my driver door. I don't know if it's going to pop up on camera very well. It's not perfectly flush. Like, there's a little bit of a, I guess, build quality issue right there. And I thought maybe it was just the front doors popped out a little bit more than the back doors. But if you pop over to the passenger side, you can see this door kind of goes in a little bit, and it's kind of more flush with the bodywork, and they close the same. So it's, and there's no problem, like there's no extra wind noise or anything, but like that is something that I figured was worth bringing up in the videos. It's got really good fit and finish. It's not perfect though. Makes sense. I mean, it's a first year car from a new company. And now we're back at the door for point number 7, and that is actually getting into the Grenadier. So here's the deal. It's a boxy SUV. It's an off-road SUV. It's higher up off the ground. The seating position is also higher as well. So getting in, right, you're gonna have to kind of jump in a bit. My problem is the fact that the passenger side gets a grab handle. They actually have another one up top. This one does have one up top, by the way, but there's no grab handle here. This would be really cool for the driver if they had a grab handle here, because then you can just grab in here, pull yourself towards this pillar, because you've got to kind of get between the seat and the steering wheel and all of that kind of stuff, because using this grab handle, it somewhat helps out, but not really all that much. So I just wish they had that grab handle on that side, also on the driver's side. Leads us to point number 8, and that has to deal with the key and ignition situation. So We've got this nice fancy steering wheel, and you can see how the center here with the vent kind of pops out, and you've got the keyhole right there. Not a problem. Unless it's nighttime, there is no lighting element in that area whatsoever, and so you literally have to kind of just feel around for a minute before you can find the key to put it in. And the lights up here, like we do have lights up here, they don't really help all that much. They help a little bit in terms of finding it, but it would be cool if they just had some sort of little lighting element there. But then at that point, they might as well just do push button start, which, yeah. And now we are on 9, which we have to turn the car on. So pop that on. Now I'm going to quickly turn this off so I can explain what is my beef. It's with the climate control system. So we've got a couple of vents here, and then we've got one on either side on the dash, and then we do have some vents here for the back passengers. Now with the climate control system, when you have it on, and it's 97 degrees outside today, if it has to work really hard, it makes a weird whistling sound that I've never heard in a car before. I don't know if that's going to pop up on camera, but it almost sounds like a cicada. And the thing is funny is, if I turn the temperature up, so I've got an automatic, I turn the temperature up, the whistling goes away. So at a certain point, when the climate control system's working so much, and I'm just gonna turn this off so we don't have to listen to it. When the climate control system's working so much, it just struggles. And then speaking of the climate control system, if you don't have the Safari windows tinted or your windows tinted, it's kind of hard to keep this cabin cool. Again, 97 degrees. I was fine without the tint up to like 80 degrees, but once you get above that, like this, necessary. And that's most cars. That's most cars, so that's why that's not a gripe. My gripe is just the weird sound it makes when the vents are working hard. Finally, this leads us to point number 10, and this is not a personal beef from me, but this is something that I've seen in the comment section on reviews with the Grenadier, so I want to bring it up in today's video, and that is in regards to the price. So the Grenadier starts at about $71,000, and you can easily get it up to $80,000 with a few options, and if you fully load this thing out, you can get it to almost $100,000. And when people see that price tag, they just go, nope, not gonna happen. So I do think this is a very valid point that people are bringing up when it comes to the Grenadier. This is a very expensive vehicle from a brand new company, right? That can be nerve-wracking for some people. And there's a lot of competition, right? Ford Bronco, Jeep Wrangler, you've got Land Rover Defender, you've got the new Lexus GX, you've got the new Toyota Land Cruiser, and all of those vehicles have packages that start at less money than this Grenadier. So I get it. I get why people are, saying that this is overpriced. But here's my thoughts on the Grenadier. First off, this has premium parts throughout the entire vehicle, and you can't say the same about the other vehicles. Like the other vehicles will have, a few premium parts. Like look at Bronco, for example. They've got the shocks, the Bilstein shocks. I consider those, a premium part. Or if you get the Raptor, you got the Fox shocks. That's a premium part. But then there's a lot of other cheap parts throughout, whereas everything in this vehicle is very well built, very premium. And so, yeah, you are paying a little bit more money, but you're getting higher quality parts throughout the vehicle. And then on top of that, I don't really think that a comparison to those vehicles really makes sense when you're looking at this whole package. The best way to look at this is like a stripped down bare bones Mercedes G-Wagon. The Mercedes G-Wagon now starts at over $140,000, and that is a super well built, super tank-like vehicle, just like the Grenadier. And this starts at half the price. And so that would be, I think, the best perspective to look at this. Like, yes, you can still compare it to those vehicles, like compare whatever you want to compare. But ultimately, I think that the best way to look at the Grenadier, given everything that it has, is to look at it as a stripped down G-Wagon that doesn't have all the luxury features, which a lot of people have been asking for that for such a long time. And when you look at that, you go, so I can get a stripped down G-Wagon-like vehicle with similar build quality to a G-Wagon. Again, it's not perfect. I showed you guys the door. That's the only thing that I have. And that's something that could be very easily adjusted. G-Wagon-like build quality, and I can get it for half the price. And if I want to add a bunch of off-road stuff, it still is only a down payment on a G-Wagon, especially if it's a G63. So there's that. That's going to sum things up for our video talking about the things that I don't exactly like about the Grenadier. Let me know your thoughts on my points. I know not all of you will agree with my points, and well, that's why the comment section on YouTube exists. Let me know your thoughts, and let me know if there's anything that you think that I should have added. And then, yeah, let me know if there's anything you think I should take out that just doesn't really make sense as a point in this video. I'll see you.